Good evening, hello and welcome to this News Today special. I'm coming to you from the Taj Lands End in Mumbai, where tomorrow the big India Today conclave will be held. But first, let me tell you what's my big talking point this Tuesday night. We'll be looking at, is the Chief Minister of Karnataka, Siddaramaiah, is his post now on a razor's edge? Could we be seeing a change there? We'll also be telling you why the Badlapur encounter has sparked off a fierce debate, and we'll ask that question, Encounter Raj, is that the way forward? And we have an exclusive with Vinesh Phogat, her first major interview since she lost the Olympics and was disqualified and is now a politician. So we've got plenty ahead on the show, but our top story tonight is coming from Bengaluru, where Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's future remains in the balance. Today was a day when the Karnataka High Court dismissed his petition challenging the governor's nod to sanction his prosecution in the alleged Mysuru Urban Development Authority land scam, nod for an investigation. The court said the governor can take independent decisions if there are exceptional circumstances. The BJP is calling for the Chief Minister to step down. The Congress is calling it a conspiracy. But could we now be seeing the fall of one of the Congress's poster Chief Ministers in charge of a southern bastion? Our top story today looks at what lies ahead for Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah.
A big setback for Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah in the alleged MUDA scam. The Karnataka High Court on Tuesday rejected Siddaramaiah's petition challenging the legality of Governor Thawarchand Gehlot's approval for a probe against the Chief Minister in the land allotment scam case. The High Court said that the governor could take decisions independently and he is indeed the competent authority to sanction an investigation. The court added that the facts narrated in the petition needed investigation and that a probe against the Chief Minister was mandatory in the case. The High Court said that the complainant was justified in filing the complaint and that the Chief Minister's family directly benefited in the case. After the verdict, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah said he would appeal against the verdict. The Chief Minister claimed he's fighting against the revenge politics of the BJP.
BJP is trying to dislodge our government through money power. I'm not afraid of the conspiracy hatched out by both BJP and JDS, because people of Karnataka are with our party, are with me.
The Congress has rallied behind Siddaramaiah, dismissing reports of a divide within the party.
My Chief Minister has not done anything wrong. He is not involved with any scam. It is a political conspiracy by the BJP to all of us, to all the opposition leaders in the country. This is what is going on. We stand by him, we support him. He is doing a good work for the country, for the party and for the state.
Chief Minister and their cabinet.
The opposition BJP has trained its guns on Siddaramaiah, seeking the Chief Minister's resignation.
Chief Minister Siddaramaiah as well as their cabinet, they alleged that Raj Bhavan has been misused. But today, High Court has given a clear judgment and High Court has clearly said whatever governor has taken decision is 100% as per the law. Being a responsible Chief Minister, he is bound to resign.
The Mysore Urban Development Authority or MUDA scam is related to land allotments made in return for acquired land. Siddaramaiah's wife allegedly got land worth more than the compensation that was due. The allotment incidentally took place during the BJP government's rule. While the Congress has backed Siddaramaiah for now, the investigation into the land allotment case could become a rallying point for his detractors within the party in the days to come. With Sagai Raj, Anaga Keshav and Nagarjun Dwarkanath in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
And joining me now are my guests today, but first the big questions. The MUDA scam probe in Karnataka. Is this now the biggest embarrassment the Congress has suffered in a long while there? Siddaramaiah's chief ministerial post? Is it now on the razor's edge? Is the Congress divided over Siddaramaiah's continuance? Or is the BJP fishing in troubled waters? Will the knives now be out for Siddaramaiah? Some of the questions I will raise. Tuin Sinha is BJP spokesperson. Chataship Shivanna is the Congress spokesperson. I appreciate both of you joining me on that face-off today. Mr. Shivanna, the fact is that Mr. Siddaramaiah went to the court hoping that the court would stay any attempt made to allow an investigation to be carried out into the alleged land deals. The governor had given permission and Siddaramaiah went against it. The court has refused. Given the situation now that an investigation will take place into these land allotments, should the Chief Minister not step aside till the investigation is complete?
Rajdeep, I would start off by saying that adversity is the first path to the truth. And I've been fortunate to have represented the Honorable Chief Minister in this particular case. I shared close circles with legal luminaries, and I can affirm to you that this is not a case or a situation that warrants the resignation of the Honorable Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. Although we accept the decision of the learned single judge today, but on a bare perusal, on a prima facie reading, I can point out at least 10 irregularities or infirmities only on facts. Apart from conjecture, surmises, and speculation, not a single shred of evidence that points to the culpability of the Chief Minister, in the alleged offences. The order of the Governor, Rajdeep, was twofold. We were challenging the validity.
Are you saying therefore that until an FIR... No, just a minute. Are you saying, Mr. Shivanna, that until an FIR is filed, if at all, the Chief Minister... What if tomorrow an FIR is filed? Based on the investigation being allowed to go ahead, is that reason for him to step down? At what stage do you believe Mr. Siddaramaiah's position could become untenable?
No, firstly, I would like to state that, we are challenging the validity of the order of the Honorable Governor. And this order was twofold. One, he granted prior approval to investigate under Section 17A. Two, he granted sanction to prosecute under Section 218 of the BNSS. It was only during the course of the proceedings of the Honorable Court that the Solicitor General submitted that the order of the Governor is erroneous insofar as it concerns, this prosecution or sanction to prosecute. Now, see, we are at a very primitive stage. Now, the High Court has clarified that this order must only be viewed as a prior approval to investigate. Now, it is for the investigating agencies to decide whether they want to investigate, they don't want to investigate. This is a matter that they will adjudicate on. And secondly, there is also an unnumbered PCR pending before the special judge. They will only use this approval granted by the governor to, and then seek a direction to either refer it for investigation or not. Now, the special judge may say that this case does not warrant registration of an FIR.
Yeah, I'll come to that as to whether an investigation can take place truly independently when you're investigating the sitting Chief Minister. But Tuin Sinha, what's interesting about this case is the alleged land allotment, which is claimed to be a sign of corruption, was done when the BJP was in power. The 50-50 scheme was brought in when the BJP was in power. That illegally acquired land by the Mysore Urban Development Authority. In return for that, compensation was given. Now, the charge is Siddaramaiah's wife got disproportionate compensation, but it was given by the BJP government. You were in power in 2020. So, it appears almost that the BJP is now saying it's corruption. When you were in power, you were the one who actually sanctioned this land which was allotted as compensation to Siddaramaiah's wife.
Well, good evening, Rajdeep. Good evening, everybody. It has been 9 hours since the judgment of the High Court has come out, and I don't know what is more embarrassing, whether it is, the scathing indictment of Siddaramaiah ji, or whether it is the complete indifference of the Congress party, which makes it seem that, self-aggrandizement and loot is their birthright. Now, I just want to selectively read two portions, just 2 paragraphs from the judgment today, just to establish and to reinforce the quantum of the misuse of power and the conflict of interest over here. when it comes to your question of the BJP government, allotting it, obviously the fact that Siddaramaiah had used his wife, had used her to buy this property was not known until 2018. In fact, he first disclosed it in his affidavit in 2018. It was missing in the affidavit in 2013. So in many ways, it was a Benami transaction on his part. Now, just to reinforce the judgment, a few lines from the judgment to establish the quantum of the misuse, it is rather difficult to accept that the beneficiary of the entire transaction to which compensation is determined is 3.56 lakhs to become 56 crores is not the family of the petitioner. How and why the rule was bent in favor of the family of the Chief Minister is what is required to be investigated. And therefore, once the investigation takes place, it will be established the kind of chicanery which Siddaramaiah's family has indulged in by not naming the property in his affidavit. Now, again, another part of the judgment makes it very clear of the angle of undue benefit. Not a single instance is shown where a person...
Mr. Tuhin Sinha, we must be clear. Mr. Tuhin Sinha, we must use our language carefully. There's no indictment as yet of Mr. Siddaramaiah. There is permission given to start an investigation. My question to you was, what was your BJP government in Karnataka doing between 2020 and 23? Compensation was given not just to Siddaramaiah's wife, it was given to BJP
there are cases
also
which
in Mysore. It seems to me that when the BJP was in power, they never raised a red flag. It has taken three anti-corruption activists to raise a red flag in a case where both the BJP and Congress leaders are allegedly involved.
No, these strict timelines don't apply to these cases. You would recall when the Fodder case first came out and when Lalu Yadav was eventually convicted. All of these investigations take time. Fact is that, and I was reading another part of the judgment, fact is, maybe the use of the word indictment is not correct over here, but fact is that the role of Siddaramaiah is untenable, and that is precisely why the go-ahead for the prosecution is given. Not a single instance is shown where a person who has relinquished land in Kesare Gram has been granted compensatory land in the upscale area of Mysore city. Why this privilege for Siddaramaiah's family? Obviously, there was misuse of power by him
but
and by his
granted
family.
by your own BJP government.
Which needs to be investigated. And why it is untenable.
No, Mr. Sinha, I agree with you, but it was granted by your own BJP government of Basavaraj Bommai. Earlier, Yediyurappa, then Basavaraj Bommai.
That is because he had not disclosed. He had not disclosed the fact that he owned this piece of land, which first came to the fore only in 2018 or 2019 affidavit. It was hidden by him. No,
well, that's not exactly. Well,
you seem to be challenging the High Court verdict today. You seem to be, let me just answer the moot question over here, why it is untenable for Siddaramaiah to continue, because this judgment paves the way for an FIR, and the same people who will be investigating the case will be reporting to Siddaramaiah, which would make it another big conflict of interest. And therefore, it is important for him to stay, to opt out
that's a very
and
good
follow
point.
The example of others.
That's a very good point you make. Okay, Mr. Sinha, you make a very good point, which Mr. Shivanna, you should answer. The fact is, an investigating agency which will investigate now, as per the court ruling, is the same agency which reports into the Chief Minister. That's where the problem comes. That's where Siddaramaiah's position may have to be reviewed by the Congress party. How do you allow an investigation by an agency which is into the Chief Minister when that same agency reports also into the Chief Minister?
I would say registration of an FIR or investigation into this matter is a far-fetched idea, and we are at a very primitive stage as of now. Now, the Honorable High Court has only upheld the order of the governor that has granted prior approval to investigate. Now, it is for the investigating agencies to decide whether they want to investigate or not. We must let them adjudicate it. There's also another matter pending before the special judge. One second,
how do they investigate their own Chief Minister?
I'll just finish. There is also an unnumbered PCR pending before the special court, wherein all these private complainants are seeking for investigation either by the Lokayukta or the CBI. Now, firstly, the special court must decide whether this case warrants an investigation or not. The Honorable Governor has only lifted the bar under 17A, but it is the the judicial mind of the special court to decide whether this matter must be referred for investigation or not, and that is, we are yet to see that. Now, if it is referred to the Lokayukta, it is an independent institution, and if it is referred to the CBI, then you know what the outcome would be. But at this stage, the CM, there is no possibility of him resigning or anything of that sort.
Okay, so you're saying it's premature to call for the resignation of the Chief Minister. Final word, Tuhin Sinha. Is this a case where the BJP is hoping to fish in troubled waters? We know that the Congress in states like Karnataka is deeply factionalized. Is the BJP simply fishing in troubled waters?
Rajdeep, like I mentioned at the start, I'm surprised, I'm amused by the defiance of the Congress party. They might think it is wishful thinking and say that the FIR is far-fetched idea, but to my understanding and to the understanding of a large section of the legal community, an FIR would be the immediate next step. But why are we surprised? A similar land scam was unraveled last month, and that concerned the Kharge family. They were allotted, the trust belonging to the Kharge family was allotted land in a prime industrial area of Bengaluru. Again, the scam involving the Valmiki Tribal Land Development Corporation, the Valmiki Tribal Development Corporation, 180 crores was embezzled out. And these people, these people say other people are anti-backward. They are the people who are anti-backward. They are casting aspersions on a Dalit governor of the state.
Let's not go into Dalit governor of the state. He's a governor of the state. I don't think whether he's a Dalit or an OBC should make any difference.
They are casting aspersions.
But let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. The fact is, the Chief Minister now, it is for the Chief Minister to decide whether it is appropriate for him at the moment to continue in office. He believes it is so. It is a premature state of investigation. We leave it there. I've heard both sides of the story, and this story will continue to develop. Clearly, Mr. Siddaramaiah is, at the moment at least, on the back foot. Let's turn from there to the other story that I want to focus on today. It's coming from Maharashtra, where I am at the moment. Akshay Shinde, who was accused of raping 2 minor girls at a school in Maharashtra's Badlapur, was shot dead by the police on Monday. The police claimed that Akshay had tried to remove a weapon from them as he was being taken out of jail. The opposition says this was an encounter killing and is part of a giant cover-up by the ruling party, a charge being denied by the Maharashtra government. Either way, the question is being raised, are we entering a phase of encounter Raj that short-circuits justice in cases like rape and murder? Take a look at our other report.
Protests rocked Maharashtra's Thane in August when 2 4-year-old children were allegedly raped by a 24-year-old janitor at a school in Badlapur. And on Tuesday, Maharashtra erupted in celebration when the rape-accused Akshay Shinde was shot dead by police in alleged retaliatory firing. The Thane Police Crime Branch killed Akshay Shinde allegedly after he snatched a police officer's revolver and shot 3 rounds at him while being shifted to a new jail.
मध्यवर्ती कारागृह से कल उसको ताबे में लिया था और ताबे में लेके जब वो आ रहे थे थाना की तरफ, तब आरोपी ने पुलिस का रिवॉल्वर छीन के जो पुलिस के साथ पुलिस के ऊपर फायरिंग की। आरोपी है उसका देहांत हुआ है, तो उसके बारे में एक अकस्मात मृत्यु रजिस्ट्रेशन किया गया है। दोनों का तपास थाना पुलिस कर रही है।
Akshay Shinde succumbed to injuries after policemen fired back at him in retaliatory action. All of this happened when Shinde was being transferred to Badlapur from Taloja prison. Shinde allegedly snatched Inspector Nilesh More's revolver and fired 2-3 bullets at him. Another policeman, Sanjay Shinde, fired back, grievously injuring him. Akshay was taken to hospital where he was declared dead.
This is the same bypass you can see over here. They reached here at 6:15 p.m. and that is when Akshay Shinde snatched Assistant Police Inspector Nilesh More's revolver and then fired 3 shots. He also injured API Nilesh More. after which PI Sanjay Shinde fired one shot and injured Akshay Shinde. They then drove towards Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Hospital in Kalwa, where Akshay Shinde was declared dead, while Nilesh More and Sanjay Shinde was referred to the Jupiter Hospital.
स्कूल में जो अत्याचार किया था दो बच्ची के ऊपर, उसका प्रायश्चित उसको मिल चुका है.
Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde has called the police action self-defense. Shinde's death has snowballed into a huge political controversy, while the Uddhav Sena has questioned if it was an attempt to destroy evidence.
मैं यही उम्मीद थी कि जस्टिस मिलना जरूरी था और जस्टिस मिलने के बाद फांसी देना जरूरी था, लेकिन जो भी कल घटना घड़ी है उसमें काफी सारे प्रश्न हैं. पहला प्रश्न यही है कि क्या आपटे को बचाने के लिए ये एनकाउंटर या खून या जो भी हो वो हुआ है.
अपोजिशन हर तरीके से हर चीज पर सवाल उठाता है और यही अपोजिशन है जो बार बार बोलता था फांसी दे दीजिए. वही अपोजिशन जब पुलिस के ऊपर गोली चलाई जाती है तो पुलिस अपना रक्षण करेगी या नहीं करेगी. मुझे लगता है कि इसके ऊपर इस प्रकार से विवाद करना बहुत गलत है.
The state CID has now been entrusted with a probe into this deadly shootout. With Divyesh Singh and Saurabh Bhaktania in Badlapur, Maharashtra. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's raise the big questions now. Encounter Raj. Is this simply short-circuiting justice? Is the anger over a rape case doused when the accused is killed in this manner? Is an encounter ahead of a Maharashtra election raising further doubts? Is there a cover-up bid? Some of the questions I will raise. Miran Chadda Borwankar is former police commissioner Pune. Rizwan Siddiqui is leading lawyer Bombay High Court. Clyde Crasto, spokesperson NCP Sharad Pawar, and Manisha Kainde, spokesperson of the ruling Shiv Sena. Appreciate all of you joining us. Miran Borwankar, your first reactions. Do you believe the police theory that here was an accused who tried to snatch weapons away from them as he was trying to, as they were taking him out of jail, and he was shot dead as part of as part of retaliatory killing? Do you buy that theory?
Rajdeep, I won't like to comment since the government has ordered an inquiry, but my simple point is that by now the trial could have started. After all, what does it take? If you have to investigate two minors having been sexually exploited, you record their statement, you take test identification parade, get the accused identified, statement of parents, medical report, charge sheet the case. In fact, if the trial had started, the case is of mid-August, by now we would have reached near conclusion. So I feel that instead of going in for the procedural law, we are definitely going in for band-aids when the surgery is needed.
So, you know, that's interesting the way you're putting it. You're saying if there was a genuine fast-track court, then you're saying a case like this could actually reach, at least in the lower courts, some kind of conclusion in 6 weeks, but it could drag on for years, isn't it, Miran Chadda Borwankar? And that's why many people believe that if a case is going to drag on for years involving rape, then, you know, the police, I can tell you today in Badlapur, people were distributing sweets.
Absolutely. They are distributing sweets and they are celebrating because they know the case would have been tried after 10, maybe after 4 to 5 years and concluded in 10 years. I am saying, if you have Fasi hanging for rarest of rare case, why can't you have trial on priority of these cases? And the cases which scandalize and which hurt the sentiments of the whole community, of the whole nation, can be tried on priority. And police investigation in this case, let me tell you, medical reports, statements of the young girls, their parents, maybe a forensic report and some circumstantial evidence. Case could have been concluded within 6 weeks.
You're saying case could have been concluded within 6 weeks. Rizwan Siddiqui, do you agree with that? That a case can be concluded? Now we are told that the man who shot dead, his father has gone to the Bombay High Court, wants an SIT probe. Do you believe that part of the problem is that because these cases take so long, maybe there's a temptation to short circuit justice. It's unconstitutional, but that's what's happening.
Yes, I have a different take to the entire situation. It's not impossible for a court to conclude a matter and finish the trial even in 1 week's time. There are cases where the whole trial has been concluded in within a week's time also, depending on what was to be placed on record, what is the evidence, what kind of cross-examination, what kind of examination chief. So the whole process of trial, depending on the questions, depending on the nature of the offense, can be concluded on a super fast, trial basis also, can be concluded in a week, 10 days also. So there is no hard and fast rule that it should take many years or many months. Now, in this case, since I'm not privy to, what kind of a trial had begun and in what stage was it, when this incident happened. So I'm not the right person to, put any kind of a comment to this. But in short,
it had not begun.
It had not begun.
It had not begun.
Okay. So since it had not begun, then without seeing any roznamas, without seeing anything, I cannot say for sure whether this could have been finished in 2 weeks' time. Because, when we are dealing with two minors, the testimony of a minor girl, though it is of importance, but the circumstantial evidence would play a more important role, because the testimony of a minor would not suffice. A small girl, a 4-year-old girl would not suffice. So, right. And an accused is always treated, is always at a higher pedestal under criminal law. So you will have to prove it otherwise. So the accused will be given, that he will be treated as not guilty till proven guilty. So in a situation like this, when you have the testimony of a 4-year-old girl, then the entire case is based on circumstantial evidence. So in a case like this, I will not believe that it can be closed in 2 weeks' time. It will take definitely much more time. It would definitely take much more time, and then by the orders passed.
So it would take, right. The problem is the politics involved. Maharashtra goes to the polls in less than 6 to 8 weeks from now. So Manisha Kayande, we are seeing how the politics is playing out. The Shiv Sena government seems to be indicating, look, this is not a staged encounter. They claim also that justice has been done. It almost seems as if the government wants to send out the message that we are ready to do this rough and ready justice. What happens to the courts of this country then if encounter cops are encouraged, as the opposition is alleging, to bump off someone?
Well, I think that we are touching 2-3 different points at a time. First, Rajdeep, I would like to comment on your encounter, Raj, because, in our country, there have been several encounters till now, but one encounter you cannot say that, it's an encounter, Raj. I think that would be stretching it a bit too far. Secondly, about the legalities and what stage the case is and all, this is what Honorable Meera Borwankarji has said, or even the other lawyer has said. I don't want to go into that. Now, coming to the politics part of it, when all this unfortunate incident happened in Badlapur, there was a public outrage. Everything was justified. Everything was justified. Even the rail roko was justified to a certain extent, or even going to the school and everything, because it was so frustrating. But when people come out with the Ladki Bahin Yojana placards, okay, when were they made ready? Who were the people who came in? Okay, who were the people who stalled the railways and particularly criticizing one of the popular schemes of Maharashtra, that is Maharashtra se Mukhyamantri Ladki Bahin Yojana. So how was that?
Ma'am, you're mixing issues. Issues. The rail roko was spontaneous anger on the ground. The rail roko was anger on the ground because there was a feeling that the culprits were going to get away.
Yes. What was the need of Ladki Bahin placards? Who brought them? Okay. So I'm not mixing issues. I'm in fact answering one by one. Anyways, now, today, the way there was a public outcry, today's also, people, of course, now encounter, like even the police has given a statement, they have issued a complete thorough statement on it, that in self-defense, the police, they have a right to self-defense. When somebody is firing on them, they have to remove their pistol.
You're saying the police, you're saying the police, 1 minute, ma'am. You're saying the police are saying they have a right to self-defense, which is fair enough. The police do have a right to self-defense, but the circumstances of the case leave lots of question. But Clyde Castro, you see, the point is there's a lot of pressure put on the government. We want instant justice. It's put by the public, it's put by the opposition. Now, tragic though it is that, you know, it's seemingly a person is killed in suspicious circumstances. What does the opposition really want at the moment in Maharashtra? What is the opposition suggesting? What is your principal charge?
See, Rajdeep, just because we are putting pressure and asking for justice does not mean the justice should be meted out in such a manner. There are a lot of questions that raise here leading to suspicion that this was an encounter. Now, my first point here is very clearly, and Mrs. Borwankar is a very respected officer. She is here. She can correct me if I'm wrong. My point is, Akshay Shinde goes to a policeman, whips out his revolver and fires at him. The question is, did he know how to unlock the gun? If he knew how to unlock the gun, did he know how to use a gun before? If a man knew how to use a gun before, why was he employed in a school? But if the gun was not locked, then why was the gun not locked? That is the question that needs to be answered, because everybody knows that the revolver, whether it's in service or not, it has to be locked. Secondly, every policeman, from what I read, and I read properly from where the rules are, that they are supposed to shoot on the foot or the leg. They are not supposed to shoot to kill somebody. That's what the other thing is. And the other thing that I want to talk to you about here is this man Akshay Shinde, his wife filed a case against him in 2022 and called him a sexual predator, someone who believes in unnatural sex and everything. If a man like this was already having a case, why was he employed by this school run by trustees connected to the BJP? Why was he there? And that too in a school where the young kids, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old girls are there, and you are allowing such a man to be in a school like that? Okay. So all these questions raise suspicion, because, you know, Akshay Shinde was handcuffed. Okay, he was gagged. And with all that, he pulls out a revolver, unlocks the revolver, shoots at the police thrice. I mean, all this has to be questioned. We have to match the bullets, where it came from. See, all this is leading to suspicion. Are we leading ourselves to a police state?
You have every right. Sir, you have every right to raise those questions. Those questions need to be raised. But Meeran Chadda Borwankar, does this put the police in a very difficult position? You see, the police seems caught in the political crossfire in cases like this. And therefore, now questions are raised over their professionalism. How did they allow this to happen? Could they have, as Clyde Castro said, shot the person on the foot? Why do you shoot to kill? Are these questions that will be actually ever answered? Or do cases like this get quietly buried?
The first question you raised is very pertinent. Police is being totally exploited and used by politicians, not only by the political parties which are in power today, but also which were in power yesterday and which are in opposition today. And some of us, unfortunately, abide by their illegal orders. I am saying, as per the Supreme Court, give independence, autonomy to police so that we are out of the clutches of these politicians. Then illegal actions and compromise with rule of law will not happen, but give police autonomy and independence.
You know, you're saying give the police autonomy and independence. That, in a sense, is at the heart of what we are seeing happening when these alleged encounters are taking place. Rizwan Siddiqui, what happens now in a case like this, where it appears prima facie that there are question marks over whether this was an encounter killing or not? Do these cases ever really reach a logical conclusion in the courts? Would the courts raise those troubling questions, some of which Clyde Castro has raised on the program today, or Meeran Borwankar has raised?
See, looking at the whole case from what it appears now, my personal experience says that this is going to be very, very difficult for a court to decide entirely on the basis of circumstantial evidences, because bullets will not speak for itself. The bullets are not going to speak for itself, and the testimony of the person would be only of the surviving police officers. The man is already dead. So there is only going to be one side of the story, and the other side of the story is not there. So one side you'll have the police officers talking for themselves. The other side is not going to be defended well. So the judges have to rely entirely on circumstantial evidence and assumptions and presumptions. And unfortunately, no judge of the country can give any judgment on the basis of assumptions and presumptions. They have to go by what is placed before them. So I personally see that this is going to be very difficult for any judge of the country to decide on a matter based on what is being presented. And what we are seeing right now is that the case is going to be led by surviving police officers, and that also many of them will talk for each other. And on the opposite side, there is a dead person with nothing left behind except for empty pellets.
So people will get away. Net, therefore, from what you're saying, people, policemen, even if this has been a staged encounter, could actually get away, even though it is clearly a violation of the law, even though it is short-circuiting of justice. What you seem to suggest, from what I can gather, is because there are so many assumptions involved, the police could get away. And we are seeing this not just in Maharashtra, across the country, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, several states where encounter killings are almost being normalized, some would say, simply because there is a growing fatigue with the judicial system. I appreciate all my guests joining me. A reminder, of course, that tomorrow we'll have the Chief Minister of Maharashtra and other guests joining us here on the India Today conclave. Thank you all to my guests for joining me. I want to turn from there to our newsmaker tonight, because a lot of focus electorally is on the state of Haryana and on one person in particular. Remember, Vinesh Phogat was disqualified from the gold medal round at the Olympics. She came back, joined the Congress party and is contesting the elections from Julana. All eyes are on Vinesh. She hasn't really spoken out on television since that disqualification. But I caught up with her over this weekend in Julana to ask her the big questions. Is she being used by the Congress party? Is she here to stay in politics? And why did she choose to retire from wrestling and join politics? And what is more difficult, wrestling or politics? Listen in to Vinesh Phogat. This is an excerpt. We have a very special guest here. Vinesh Phogat, Olympian wrestler, now politician. और हम इस समय जुलाना में हैं, हरियाणा के जिन डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, जहां से विनेश फोगाट अपनी पॉलिटिकल डेब्यू कर रही है. पहला सवाल मेरा आसान है कि पॉलिटिक्स करना ज्यादा मुश्किल है या वर्ल्ड चैंपियन को ओलंपिक्स में हराना? जापानीज जो कभी नहीं हारी थी, कौन सा ज्यादा मुश्किल है?
देखो सर, टफ दोनों हैं. स्टार्टिंग हमेशा ज़्यादा टफ रहती है, तो अभी पॉलिटिक्स बहुत ज़्यादा टफ हो रही है. लेकिन जब रेसलिंग स्टार्ट किया था तो वो भी उससे भी ज़्यादा टफ था. तो हर क्षेत्र में स्टार्टिंग में मेहनत लगती है. जैसे यूज टू हो जाएंगे, जैसे लोगों को जानने लग जाएंगे, अपने आसपास का जो एक इन्वायरमेंट, सेफ इन्वायरमेंट जब बन जाता है, तो मेरे आई थिंक मतलब ठीक रहेगा सब चीज़ें.
लेकिन सबसे बड़ी आपको चैलेंज क्या रही है? आप जैसे ही आप राजनीति में आ गई, मैं देख रहा हूँ इस पूरे एरिया में ज्यादातर पुरुष हैं, आपके पार्टी ऑफिस में ज्यादातर पुरुष हैं. एक महिला जिन में जुलाना से, जहां कभी कोई महिला जीती नहीं है, ये बहुत मुश्किल है या ये एक चैलेंज आपके सामने है?
जुलाना में पहली बार किसी महिला को टिकट मिला है, ये एक बहुत ही बड़ी एक अचीवमेंट लगा लो, महिलाओं के लिए लगा लो.
एडजस्ट हो गई है पूरी तरह से?
एडजस्ट नहीं हुई हूँ. सबसे डिफिकल्ट है लोगों को रिकॉग्नाइज करना, पहचानना, उनके नाम से पहचानना, क्योंकि इतना बड़ा क्षेत्र है और सभी को ये है कि जितना जल्दी हमें पहचान ले, तो वो थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो रहा है मेरे लिए. सीखेंगे, टाइम लगता है, हर चीज़ को टाइम लगता है. तो मैं अपने आप को भी टाइम दे रही हूँ, लोगों को भी हम समझाने की कोशिश करें कि टाइम लगेगा, थोड़ा सा हमको सब्र रख के और स्लो चलना पड़ेगा. ज़्यादा स्पीड की गाड़ियों का एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है, तो स्लो चलना है. बिल्कुल
स्लो चलना है, क्योंकि हम चरखी दादरी में थे, उस एकेडमी में गए थे जहाँ से आपने शुरुआत की थी. वहाँ लोग कह रहे थे हम चाहते थे कि विनेश हमारे यहाँ से लड़े. अब आप ससुराल से लड़ रही है, तो कहीं वहां के लोग कह रहे हैं चरखी दादरी से क्यों नहीं लड़ी, यहाँ जुलाना से कहाँ लड़ गई?
देखिए, ये तो पार्टी का एक डिसीजन है अपना. मैंने कहीं से ऐसे नहीं बोला कि मेरे को यहाँ से दो. उनको जहाँ पे ठीक लगा वो उन्होंने किया है. लेकिन एक जन्मभूमि है, एक कर्मभूमि है, तो वह भूल दोनों को नहीं सकती. काम हम पूरे जुलाना क्षेत्र तो हमारी प्रायोरिटी है ही, लेकिन हम पूरे हरियाणा के लिए भी हम काम करने की पूरी अपने एक विजन रखेंगे. ऐसा नहीं कि एक क्षेत्र तक मैं सीमित नहीं रहना चाहती हूँ। अगर मैं देश की खिलाड़ी रही हूँ तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि हरियाणा या देश में कहीं पे भी लोगों को चाहे स्पोर्ट्स के थ्रू हमने इंस्पायर किया है तो अभी पॉलिटिक्स के थ्रू भी हम इंस्पायर करने की कोशिश करेंगे एक नई सोच के साथ में।
मैं आऊंगा आपका एजेंडा जो हरियाणा के लिए, लेकिन इसके पहले एक बड़ा सवाल उठता है। ये जो निर्णय आपने लिया कि आप राजनीति में आएगी, ये ओलंपिक्स के पहले लिया था या ओलंपिक्स के बाद लिया है?
ये ओलंपिक्स के बाद ही लिया है सर।
ओलंपिक्स के बाद?
नहीं, हाँ बिल्कुल ओलंपिक्स के बाद में। कौन ओलंपिक्स के फाइनल में जाएगा और फिर गोल्ड लेके आएगा और फिर बोलेगा पॉलिटिक्स में जाना है। लेकिन आए हैं, जो सर्कमस्टांसिस बने हैं, लोग मिले हैं, हर पर्सन ने ये डिमांड रख दिया सामने आके कि हमारे बच्चों के लिए आपको आना पड़ेगा, आपको आगे रहना पड़ेगा, आप ऐसे घर में बैठ के अपना रो दो नहीं सकते हो, आपको लड़ना पड़ेगा। तो वो एक लड़ाकू वाली जो मेरे में वो चाहते हैं ना, फाइटर वाली जो सोच, वो जिंदा रखना चाह रहे थे।
ये सवाल इसलिए पूछा गया कि जब आप आई पेरिस से, तो आप क्या जो प्रोसेशन था उसमें दीपेंद्र हुड्डा शामिल थे। जब आपने बृजभूषण शरण सिंह के खिलाफ जो एजिटेशन चलाया था तब भी कांग्रेसी वहां आए थे, प्रियंका गांधी वाड्रा, दीपेंद्र हुड्डा। तो ये कहा गया कि ये पूरा जो एजिटेशन है वो स्पॉन्सर्ड है। विनेश फोगाट ने पहले से तय किया था मैं कांग्रेस पार्टी या राजनीति में जाऊंगी।
नहीं, बिल्कुल पहली तो ये बात है, जब हम एजिटेशन पे बैठे थे तो बीजेपी के 2 नेताओं ने परमिशन दिया था, तो ये वो बोल नहीं सकते कि कांग्रेस ने किया था। तो इसका मतलब आपकी पार्टी के अंदर ही भीतरघात है।
शुरुआत में
बिल्कुल शुरुआत में जो परमिशन हुआ था बीजेपी के 2 नेताओं ने लिया था।
कौन थे वो?
मैं नाम आपको भी पता है, पूरी पब्लिक जानती है सब चीजें। तो और दूसरी बात, कोई भी लड़की, कितने भी आप लेवल तक सोच सकते हो, कोई भी लड़की सड़क पे आके अपने कपड़े फड़वा के, बाल नचवा के पॉलिटिक्स में एंटर करने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है। हम जैसे खिलाड़ी जिनका नाम है, परमात्मा की दया से आशीर्वाद से 2 मेडल हैं, लोग जानते हैं, हम साफ छवि के साथ में भी, साफ मकसद के साथ भी आ सकते थे अगर हमारा मकसद था इतना। रही दीपेंद्र हुड्डा जी की बात में, वो जो योगेश्वर दत्त जी हैं बीजेपी में है, लेकिन जब वो मेडल जीत के आते थे तब भी वो उनको एयरपोर्ट पर रिसीव करने जाते थे। मेरे को तो पहली बार रिसीव करने गए हैं और अच्छा लगता है जब आप मेडल के साथ में तो बहुत सारे लोग आते हैं। अपॉर्चुनिटी बीजेपी के पास में भी थी, वो पहले पहुंच जाते हैं उनसे, तो मैं उनको भी मना नहीं करती कि आप यहाँ पे क्यों आए हो।
अच्छा, तो बीजेपी के भी नेता अगर एयरपोर्ट पे आते हैं, आपका स्वागत करते, तो आप उनको
वो मेरे को एक क्षेत्र तक सीमित करना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि उनको पता है कि सच्चाई की लड़ाई है, उसको जितना छोटा करोगे, जितना सीमित करते जाओगे, तो वो एक नैरेटिव बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। बीजेपी के सिंगल नेता ने ना मैसेज किया, ना फोन किया, क्या मेरा नंबर नहीं था, क्या वो मेरे को जानते नहीं थे? अगर आप सच्चाई में, अगर आप ये नैरेटिव तोड़ भी सकते थे।
लेकिन आपने कुछ बड़ी बातें कही, इससे एक बात जुड़ जाती है। आपके जो विरोधी, खास करके बीजेपी या बृजभूषण शरण सिंह, कहेंगे अब विनेश फोगाट देश की बेटी नहीं है, कांग्रेस की बेटी है, और इस वजह से आपका जो आंदोलन था वो थोड़ा कमजोर होगा। साक्षी मलिक शामिल नहीं हुई है, उनको भी न्योता था राजनीति में आया, उन्होंने कहा नहीं मैं नहीं आना चाहती। क्या कहीं ना कहीं आपको लगता है जो आपका निर्णय है उससे आपका आंदोलन जो था, जो आपने महिलाओं के लिए उठाया था, वो कमजोर हो गया?
नहीं, बिल्कुल, देखो इसमें कमजोर नहीं हो सकता, मैं इस चीज को कमजोर नहीं मानती हूँ। अगर आपने सड़क पे लड़ाई लड़के देखी, क्या मिला आपको? आपकी बेइज्जती के, अपमान के, कपड़े फाड़ने के अलावा कुछ भी नहीं मिला। ओलंपिक्स तक मैंने जाके देख लिया, मिला क्या? इंसाफ नहीं मिला ना। कहाँ मिलेगा इंसाफ? ये मजबूरियां हैं, आपको मानना पड़ेगा। रही बात कांग्रेस पार्टी की, उस टाइम पे, उसके बाद में जब एजिटेशन दोबारा हम बैठे हैं, 4 महीने खून के आंसू रो के, हमने बीजेपी पार्टी को हमने पूरा मौका दिया कि आप अपने सांसद के खिलाफ में एक्शन लो। जब कुछ भी एक्शन लिया, उनके साथ में पूरी पार्टी बैठ गई हमें झूठा साबित करने के लिए। दोबारा से जब हम बैठे तो सिर्फ कांग्रेस नहीं आई थी वहां पे। जब हम गंगा में मेडल माने गए थे, ममता दीदी का फोन आया था हमारे पास में। ममता जी जो पश्चिम बंगाल के मुख्यमंत्री हैं, वो बेगिंग कर रही थी हमारे सामने कि बेटा मेडल मत पाओ। वो भी अलग पार्टी से, वो कांग्रेस से नहीं थे। आम आदमी पार्टी के जो केजरीवाल जी हैं, वो हमारे एजिटेशन में आए थे। कितने बड़े पॉलिटिशियन थे, हर जगह से लोग आए थे। तो आप एक जगह पे सेट नहीं कर सकते उस चीज को कि ये प्री प्लान था। कभी आप बोलोगे मुस्लिम है इसलिए बोल रहे हैं, कभी आप बोलोगे ये पाकिस्तान से आए इसलिए बोल रहे हैं, कभी बोलोगे खालिस्तानी है। ये नहीं चलेगा ऐसे। आपको शुद्ध राजनीति करो, आपको करनी है मुद्दों पे करो।
आप मुझे कह रही हैं कांग्रेस या आप बीजेपी में भी, आपने कांग्रेस को क्यों चुनी, बीजेपी क्यों नहीं? क्योंकि बीजेपी तो सत्ताधारी पार्टी है, यहाँ हरियाणा में भी है, केंद्र में है, आपके अच्छे रिश्ते रहे हैं नरेंद्र मोदी जी के साथ, उन्होंने आपका वेलकम वेलकम किया था जब आपको कभी मेडल्स मिले थे, बजरंग जी को भी जब ओलंपिक मेडल मिले थे उनको घर पे बुलाया था। तो आप बीजेपी क्यों नहीं चलेगी, कांग्रेस क्यों चलेगी?
मेरे कभी किसी पार्टी के साथ में अच्छे रिश्ते नहीं थे, मैं किसी भी पॉलिटिकल पर्सन को ना जानती थी, ना कॉन्टेक्ट नंबर था, कुछ भी नहीं था।
अच्छा, 1.5 साल पहले तक कुछ नहीं था?
एजुकेशन में आने तक मेरे पास सिंगल किसी पॉलिटिशियन का नंबर नहीं था।
मैं अब चुनाव पे आता हूँ। जुलाना जो है वो एक ऐसी जगह है जहां कांग्रेस 15 साल से जीती नहीं है। INLD, JJP जीते, आसान कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी नहीं है। उस जापानी रेसलर को भी हराना आसान नहीं था। लेकिन क्या कहीं ना कहीं क्या आप मानती है ये बड़ी टक्कर है जुलाना में? सबसे क्या आप कॉन्फिडेंट है आप जीत सकती हैं?
देखो, मैं ना ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस हूँ, ना मैं बिल्कुल डल बैठी हूँ कि मैं जीत नहीं सकती। हम बिल्कुल न्यूट्रल हैं। हर दिन 24 आवर्स में क्या करना है उसके ऊपर फोकस है। अगर आसान होता तो विनेश को नहीं चुनते, कोई और आता। आसान नहीं है, इसलिए पार्टी ने विनेश को चुना है और मैं पूरी दायित्व से, पूरी जिम्मेदारी से इस अपने विधानसभा में काम कर रही हूँ और मुझे अपने काम पे भरोसा है, मुझे अपनी मेहनत पे भरोसा है। अगर मैंने दिल जान से मेहनत की तो हम निकल जाएंगे किसी भी बाधा से।
और अगर आप जीत जाएं, मंत्री बने, MLA बने, क्या है आपका कोई सपना है हरियाणा के लिए जिसकी वजह से आप राजनीति में आई हैं?
सबसे पहला तो मेरा जो सपना है कि कोई भी जो हमारे खिलाड़ी हैं जो ऐसे सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट का शिकार होते हैं, छोटे लेवल से लेकर ओलंपिक लेवल तक होते हैं, कोई डिनाई नहीं कर सकता है। उनको कम से कम ये विश्वास रहे कि रात को, आधी रात को भी कॉल करे, कोई हमारे लिए खड़ा है सुनने को और कोई हमारे लिए लड़ सकता है। ये मेरा फर्स्ट एक सपना है, ये विजन है या एक भावना है और मैं चाहती हूँ हर खिलाड़ी उस चीज़ पे विश्वास करे। इसलिए इस चीज़ में आने की जरूरत नहीं थी, ये मजबूरियां हैं जो लेके आते हैं कई बार।
आपकी बात सुनकर लग रहा है कि धीरे धीरे आप नेता बन रही है, आप मुद्दे उठा रही है, क्योंकि कई लोग आपके जो पुराने साथी भी है, कोचेस हैं, कहते हैं विनेश ने एक बार और ट्राई करना चाहिए था, 2028 में गोल्ड मेडल मिलना, फिर आप जो करना। एक गोल्ड मेडल की जरूरत है भारत को, आप में वो क्षमता है, ताकत है। आप अगर पॉलिटिक्स में नहीं जाती तो शायद आपको 2028 में भी मेडल मिल सकता।
ये कोई गुड्डे गुड़ियों का खेल नहीं है कि आपने बोल दिया मैंने कर लिया। मेरे दिल तक आवाज आनी चाहिए, मेरी बॉडी को साथ देना चाहिए। कोई खिलाड़ी 3 ओलंपिक से जब ऐसे आ जाता है, आप शायद कोई खिलाड़ी के अलावा ये भावना समझ नहीं सकता है। जिस सिचुएशन से मैं निकल के आई हूँ, मेरे को पता है इमोशनली उस चीज़ से कोप अप करना बहुत ही ज़्यादा अलग लेवल पे डिफिकल्ट है। रही बात जिंदगी में परमात्मा ने, मैं बहुत डेस्टिनी वाली लड़की हूँ, मैं मानती हूँ बहुत ज़्यादा। परमात्मा ने जो कहीं पे लिख रखा होगा, कुछ भी, चाहे पॉलिटिक्स में है, चाहे रेसलिंग में है, चाहे और क्षेत्र में है, मैं वहाँ पे जाऊँगी।
आई विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट विनेश फोगाट। ये बड़ा फाइट है आपका और मैं आपको और आपके इस पूरे कैंपेन को हम बड़े बारीकी से देखते रहेंगे एंड जो होगा वो परमात्मा डिसाइड करेगा। Thank you very much. Vinesh Phogat. Okay, let's turn to our good news today story. And our good news today story is about what is being called the world's toughest marathon, the ultramarathon, Unreasonable East 200 Mile in Queensland, Australia, which has been completed by an Indian endurance athlete, Sukhant Singh Suki. He's gone where no one else has gone from the country before. Interestingly, Suki is a model by profession, but his passion for running is so strong that he completed a distance. Look at this, 325 kilometers in 105 hours and 31 minutes without sleeping for 4 consecutive nights. It's our good news today story.
Indian endurance athlete Sukhant Singh Suki has achieved a remarkable feat. He recently completed one of the world's toughest ultramarathons, Unreasonable East 200 Mile in Queensland, Australia. The Indian High Commissioner in Australia congratulated Suki for his achievement. He was the only Indian in the race this year. He completed the distance of 325 kilometers in 105 hours and 31 minutes.
वो 4 रात आप बस बिना नहाए, बिना ब्रश किए हुए ऐसी जंगल में भाग रहे हैं आप, लाइक अ मैड मैन. दिस इज मैडनेस, नथिंग एल्स. पर एक अजीब सा एडिक्शन भी है. एक बार आप इस स्पोर्ट में देर लगी आपने बताया 105 आवर्स, 105 घंटे और 31 मिनट्स में मैं कंप्लीट किया इसको.
Of the 27 athletes from around the world who started the race, only 20 managed to finish.
सभी कोई विनर है। मैं कहूँगा कि हम 27 लोग जो हैं सभी विनर हैं इसमें अगर जाना चाहे, लेकिन अगली बार मैं जाके जरूर जीतना चाहूँगा क्योंकि अब मेरा थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस हो गया है, थोड़ा सा CV मेरा बन गया है अब एक्सपीरियंस का 200 माइल्स रेसेस का। तो अगली बार मैं अगर 6 मंथ्स और भी मेहनत करूँ तो पोजीशन जरूर फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड ला सकता हूँ।
Suki says that his marathon mission is to raise awareness about mental health, especially attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, a condition he has personally conquered. With Dharmender Dubey, Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, that's it on the show tonight.